Hello and welcome to English for Everyone, where we practice real-life American English. Today we're going to learn to avoid some important mistakes, so let's get started. First, this is not correct.
And while you're guessing, let's remember something we learned a few weeks ago. How would you call this heel? It's called a kitten heel. It's my favorite, kitten heel. Look at that. My new favorite shoes.
First, I cannot say, how do you call? When you're talking about the name of something, we cannot use the question word how with the verb call. I have to use the question word what. What do you call? Example, what do you call this? This is called a mouse. This is called a computer mouse. I cannot say, how do you call this? I have to say what. When I'm talking about the name of something, I have to use what. What do you call this? And the answer, we say, it's called. It is, contraction, it's. It's called a mouse. Let's practice. What do you call this? That's right, it's called a mouse. It's called a computer mouse. Let's watch the clip again.
And while you're guessing, let's remember something we learned a few weeks ago. How would you call this heel? It's called a kitten heel. It's my favorite, kitten heel. Look at that. My new favorite shoes.
Kitten heels? Kitten heels? Oh, she means kitten. We cannot say kitten. You cannot pronounce the word kitten. It's pronounced kitten. When I have T-E-N at the end of a word, the T is special. I cannot pronounce it like a fast D, like when I say water bottle. I cannot say kitten. I make the stop T and go directly to the N sound. Kit. I stop the air with my tongue. Kit. And go directly to the N sound. Another option, I can make the real T and say kitten. This is also correct. But it's more common in American pronunciation to hear kitten. But never say kitten. It's kitten or kitten. Kitten is more common. Example, kittens are cute. All kittens are cute. So, these kittens are cute. Let's practice. Are these kittens cute? That's right, these kittens are cute. And this is a kitten heel. I had no idea because I don't wear heels. But yeah, this is called a kitten heel. Not a kitten heel, but a kitten heel. So remember, when you use the verb call to talk about the name of something, don't use how. Don't say how do you call, say what do you call. Also remember, don't say the way or like. I cannot say call it like this or call it like that. Or call it this way or call it that way. When using the verb call to talk about the name of something, don't use how, don't use the way, and don't use like. Keep watching for a complete explanation and to practice more. This is also not correct.
How do you call this appliance that would go inside your kitchen? Now, how do you call this thing where you listen to music?
I cannot say, how do you call this appliance? Or, how do you call this thing? In this situation, when we use the verb call, we cannot start the question with how. We have to start the question with what. So it's correct to say, what do you call this appliance? Or, what do you call this thing? We cannot say, how do you call in this situation. You can also use passive voice and say, what is it called? What is this thing called? And you answer, it's called an appliance. Or it's called a stove. Use passive voice for the answer. So, example, what do you call this appliance? And I answer, it's called a stove. Let's practice. What do you call this appliance? That's right, it's called a stove. First, this is not correct.
This slushie and this popcorn is delicious. Talking about popcorn, how do you guys call popcorn in your country?
It's not correct to say, how do you guys call popcorn? And this is also not correct.
Oh yeah, they can even proofread your essay. How's the app called? I want to check it out. Hi Native. Oh wow.
It's not correct to say, how's the app called? And here's another teaching video with the title, Here's How We Call Each Finger. But it's not correct to say, here's how we call each finger. As you can see, this is a very common mistake made by non-native speakers. So how do we say it correctly? Well, if you want to know the name of something, it's not correct to say, how do you call it? We have to use the question word what. We have to say, what do you call it? We cannot use the question word how in this case.
What do you call that?
What do you call that?
What do you call it? Jen?
What do you call it? That hat, what do you call it?
What do you call it when the assassins accuse the assassin?
I'm trying to, what do you call it?
What do you call it? A fixation, psychosis? Have you thought of that?
What do you call that, a goose?
She gave it all up to live with a bunch of women and, what do you call it? A sorority. What do you call it, then? A success?
The fact that you're here and doing as well as you're doing gives me, what do you call it, a motivation, to stay alive.
So let's look at the question and the answer. The question is, what do you call it? Or I can use passive voice and say, what is it called? I can also make the contraction, what's, and say, what's it called?
Oh, this one's good. What's it called again?
What's it called again?
What is it called? They even got a whole, what is it called?
So that marbles thing that you were so very smart about, what is it called again?
What is it called? The cross-country classic?
Rita, please continue your restoration using Norman's, what is it called again?
What's it called again? Shake Shack?
When you answer this question, we have to answer with passive voice. It's called.
Exactly. It's called fruit jumping.
It's delicious. It's called a Malaga cooler.
It's called a gravity drive.
It's called the knockout mechanism.
It's called the masses.
It's called a sandwalk.
Yes, they do, and horses and pigs and goats and sheep. It's called animal husbandry.
It's called a rock blanket.
Or if I have something in my hand, I say this. What do you call this? Or I could use passive voice and say, what is this called? And the answer, it's called a plush toy. This is called a plush toy. Let's practice. What do you call this? That's right. This is called a plush toy. Now let's practice the question. Ask me the question. Very good. This is called a plush toy. What if you have two? For example, scissors. Question, what do you call these? These are called scissors. Or I can ask the question, what are these called? Or what are they called? They are called scissors. Let's practice. What are these called? That's right, these are called scissors. Now, ask me the question. They're called scissors. Very good. So when can we use the question word how? We can use how with questions like, how do you pronounce? How do you say? And how do you spell? With these verbs, we use the question word how.
How do you pronounce that one?
How do you pronounce your name?
How do you pronounce this?
We were curious. How do you pronounce it?
Now, how do you pronounce your name?
Example, how do you pronounce your last name? I answer, it's pronounced Liddell. Let's practice. How do you pronounce your last name? Very good. And with the question, how do you spell your last name? I answer, it's spelled Liddell.
Hey, Ann, how do you spell freckles?
How do you spell zucchini? So how you spell all these words anyway?
How do you spell buter, by the way?
Peace. How do you spell that?
Okay, and how do you spell that?
T-R-O-Y.
Hey, Josie, how do you spell ugly?
How do you spell that?
Yes. How do you spell that?
Let's practice. How do you spell your last name? Very good. Let's practice with how do you say.
I'm not so young anymore, and how do you say a little incontinent?
How do you say no? Oh my gosh.
I know. How do you say that in Espanol?
How do you say that in French?
How do you say that you're a loving person? With this on my face, you know?
How do you say that?
How do you say this in your native language? Very good. Let's also look at the difference between a direct question and an indirect question. If I say, what do you call it? That's a direct question. But if I say, do you know? I have to change the structure. Do you know what it's called? I cannot say, do you know what is it called? I cannot use a question structure. I have to use a positive structure after do you know. Do you know what it's called?
I know what it's called.
I don't know what it's called.
You know what it's called?
What?
New tweeter ends.
Oh, I know what it's called, but you can't do this.
I know what it's called.
Let's practice. Do you know what it's called? That's right, I know what it's called. Ask me the question. Yes, I know what it's called. It's called a plush toy. Very good. Now let's practice the negative answer. Do you know what it's called? I don't know what it's called. Do you know what it's called? That's right, I don't know what it's called either. Very good. Keep watching to learn to avoid another common mistake with the verb call. Today we're talking about an important mistake to avoid using the verb call. I can say, what do they call him? They call him a troublemaker. But I cannot say, how do they call him? When using call, you make the question with a what. What do they call him? And also, when you use call, don't use like. They call him like that. No like when you use the verb call. So, I say, why do they call him that? Not, why do they call him like that? Why do they call him that? They call him that because he causes problems. They call him a troublemaker because he causes problems. So again, with the verb call, do not use like. You cannot say they call him like that. You say, they call him that. Question, why do they call him that? They call him that because he causes problems. He makes trouble. That's why they call him that. Let's practice. What do they call him? That's right, they call him a troublemaker. Why do they call him that? That's right, they call him that because he causes problems. He makes trouble. That's why they call him that. So remember, when using call, use the question word what, never how, and don't put the action call with like. You cannot use the two words together, call and like. You can say speak like that and talk like that, but you cannot say call him like that. It's call him that. A common mistake I've heard from my students is this: the way how I like it. Example, they cook the food the way how I like it is not correct. We cannot put the way and how together. We have to eliminate one. So you can say they cook the food the way I like it, or you can say they cook the food how I like it. But you cannot say they cook the food the way how I like it together. You cannot use the way and how together because they mean basically the same thing. For emphasis, you can use exactly or just. Example, they cook it just the way I like it. Let's practice. Do they cook the food just the way you like it? That's right, they cook it just the way I like it. Example, she's a good cook, so I can say I like the way she cooks. Or I can say I like how she cooks. But I cannot say I like the way how she cooks. I cannot use the way and how together. I have to eliminate one. So I say I like the way she cooks. Let's practice. Do you like the way she cooks? Very good. I like the way she cooks too. So remember, you cannot say the way how. You cannot say the way how I like it. You cannot use the way and how together. You have to eliminate one and use just one. The way or how. Thank you for watching. And if you like this video, subscribe to our channel. And if you want to become a member, click the join button. And we'll see you next time.